Okay, so here we are in the final, and Simic Nadu has won the die roll, which is probably highly significant. Um, you know, lots of one drops and anthems. Really, really wants to be on the play. I mean, every deck wants to be on the play, but in particular this deck. So, um, kind of first strike for something to Final Defiance. M-Dog has mulligans, so I guess if we were saying it was even or good for the aggro deck, probably losing the die roll and mulliganing shifts that enough that we would have Final Defiance as favourite for this game, and therefore I suppose the match maybe, but we have to play the game and find out. The perfect six probably, even on the draw, does very good things. I think this is definitely worse pre-board for Nadu, better post-board when they go up to the full 4 Arachnogenesis and they, just kind of take out slower, clunkier things. So M-Dog's gone to 5. So if you can win the first game, all you need to do is win a post-board game on the play in game 3. So it's pretty good news for Final Defiance here. Nothing like this happened against me, obviously. Isamaru, Hound of Conda, still rocking in 2025, I think explicitly because of the existence of the flowering of the white tree, but still, here he is. Still good. No. I mean, once in a while, Littlefield used to play it in the one sin era in Heroic as just like a decent dude who attacks, but yeah, those were lower powered decks than these. Well, Littlefield was a master of that deck. She was completely crazy good. So I can only defer to her judgment. But yeah, it is a bit weird. Maul and Haunt is the second land. I don't know what the blue cards are apart from Pippin. So Timely Mana Leak, and M-Dog just has a 2/2. This is exactly how, and only 3 cards in hand, and no blue mana. I mean, it's just. Mhm. I mean, surely not pre-board, but maybe post-board. So we're just tapping out for Nadu, no fear. M-Dog seemingly doesn't even have a second white mana to slam a flowering here. Just plays Basri's as dire. I could have beat this draw. So yeah, I mean, you keep any 5 that even vaguely functions, but it's. I mean, Hex Parasite here is game, I would say. Uh, okay, yeah. Yeah, Malcolm makes sense. Yeah, I see Malcolm in this deck. So we're tapping out for the invasion, maybe holding up a Spell Pierce, just because that gives us 2 blockers anyway, and the invasion's going to flip next turn unless M-Dog's next play is Sinu. So looking very, very good. And of course, if there's no other enabler in sight apart from this Minamo, flipping the invasion is very, very good. Monumental Henge, so some more mana. Does have a flowering. Okay, game on. Does have a spell pierce. Game off again. Yeah, so that's brutal. There's a little moment of hope for M-Dog, then dashed horribly. So this invasion is going to flip. There's going to be 4 triggers. No blocks here, surely. The 4 triggers are going to, are as good as drawing 4 cards. Slightly better than drawing 4 cards. And presumably with at least 4 mana and the better board and having drawn up to 7 cards in hand, Final Defiance can find a way to put away game 1. So now they get to play two games. You only have to win one of them with 4 Arachnogenesis and a bunch of pretty medium blue removal spells, but at least they have them to stop the early madness. Yes, I mean, I had a couple of those tap your guy spells for 1 mana, but the ward was what did me. If I hadn't had to pay the ward, I could have kept up Manaleek and Manaleek the next creature. And I should not have misplayed in game one if I wanted to win the match, I suppose is the truth. But this looks brutal. Here's another flowering. But the 5 cards in hand, we probably have a Manaleek or a Spell Pierce. Looks like Spell Pierce. Yep. I might concede at this point if I was M-Dog, but he's a lot hardier than me. Yeah, I mean, it's correct, of course. You know, sometimes you're misunderstanding the game state, or sometimes your opponent is, and they don't do what they should obviously do. So there's a lot to be said for not conceding. But I mean, they are going to draw 4 cards. Well, more than 4 cards this turn, and they have a vastly superior board, vastly more mana, more cards in hand even before drawing. It's pretty grim. Do not make the mistake of attacking with Catus, Sea Tyrant of Segovia into the double block, which, I don't know, would have cost them four cards. Jeez. Yeah, I mean, a pretty anemic draw from Blue-White Legends, so we can't really say, wow, this Nardo deck is so good or something, because Legends did not put up much of a fight here. Still 2 games for M-Dog to come back. It's a flowering. I don't think that's good. No, I mean, look, we have 9 power flyer. Oh, forbid no buyback. We have 9 power flyers on the opposing team. I don't even know what the flowering would do. Frankly, just chump block it with some Kraken tokens or take damage or anything you like. Make Nardu bigger. Oh no, make Malcolm bigger. Makes sense. Yeah. No point in targeting Nardu if you can target Malcolm. It's just sometimes, you know, this has to be a legendary creature. You can also target Catus. Okay. M-Dog has given up facing the 2-turn clock in the air and infinite cards. So M-Dog's last 3 games have all been blowouts in one direction or another. Let's see. Not quite. It's a little unfair on our match, but let's see what we can see. I mean, now needs to win 2 games in a row otherwise we're going to have to say this is the most dominant performance by a deck in the history of PD in a 500. I do wonder if there was a 4 Orzhov control in the top 8 once in like 29. Season 29. I don't mean 29. 31. That season went on a very long time that everyone thought they couldn't possibly brew anything that beat Orzhov control, even though presumably we could have if we put our mind to it. But yeah, season 31 was the very blinky Yorian Orzhov that got 11% of the meta with a 64% win rate and 22 tournament wins, which is pretty crazy. But it only put 2 copies in the top 8 of the 500, and they both lost. They both lost in the quarters. So that is not as dominant performance as this. This may be the best. I don't know. We'll have to scour the archives sometime afterwards. But well, I'm glad to say, last time I checked, it looked like Nardu and Step Through, and even some of the other cards in this deck were rotating out. Also, second best deck, Excruciator Demon, losing like 3 of the 4 or 5 main cards. So, yeah, I mean, I guess I'm just going on the kind of league and tournament stats all added together, but that's maybe not, yeah, the 500 definitely should have some weight. There was a lot of copies in this tournament, and none of them made top 8. I'm not sure how many exactly, but, 5 or more, I think. Okay, so M-Dog on the play. He mulligans to 6. Final Defiance mulligans to 6, evening things up. M-Dog really pondering his 6. Maybe just pondering what to bottom. Yeah, goes on the bottom. Final Defiance is invited to do the same. Yeah. Okay, so they both keep 6. They both thought long and hard about what to put on the bottom or whether to keep or something. But I mean, it is a deciding game. You know, sudden death for M-Dog and sudden life, whatever the opposite of sudden death is for Final Defiance. So here's a Hex Parasite. So if we're going to do the Xenu thing, might we have done it already before Final Defiance got to play land? Probably. So is this Pippin, maybe? Or, oh, Thalia. Okay. I mean, I guess Thalia is quite good in this matchup. You know, it makes the mana leaks and things super bad. Mana leaks already a bit clunky. May have been side down. Forbid for sure, side down. Oh, offers the trade. So really quite afraid of the combo being assembled. Final Defiance is looking at the 3 copies of Hex Parasite in their hand and thinking, my god, what a gift. Or not. I wonder if M-Dog has another Kithian, because that would probably push me towards attacking rather than hanging back. Even so, you know, turning it into the Planeswalker is one of the things this deck can do that's pretty cool. Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe he has 2 Kithians in hand. Maybe he has all 3 remaining Kithians. So we're going main phase. Eater of Virtue for 2 mana. Wow. That is a sign of weakness. I feel like we're going to a game 3 here. I guess if your hand is Mana Leak and whatever, and there's a Thalia hanging out, then getting it in play for your turn 3 Nadu is maybe good. So here is a Pippin. It is. And there's no anthems here. So Pippin cannot make a 6/4, you know, get through or whatever. Like it's really scary. But it's still great to be able to turn off the, you know, it's another body, and you get to turn off the any sort of auras. Well, he does have some reasonable number of soldiers. We've seen 3 already in this game, and he has a scrap shooter just to be a 4/4 to block is interesting, and he does have the soldier land, which is blue-white. So there are some sort of mostly untapped duels in this land, which maybe excuse some of this, you know, Mourn Haunt and such. Okay, so it does have another Kithian, maybe holding up a Spell Pierce here. Do you activate Pippin to get in for 2? Probably not. You want it instead to. Yeah, I'm not totally sure, because any attack next turn to flip the Kithian will result in the death of the Pippin, presumably. So, and could flash in a Malcolm here. So it might not be Spell Pierce, or it might be nothing. They have 2 cards in hand and they only had 1 white mana, so it might just be Stone Nothing. But flashing in a Malcolm is okay. I mean, it doesn't attack through the reach guy. So we are just using our last card, which is Inisamaru. It's not Senu. It's Inisamaru. Oh, and we got Spell Pierce, which is pretty bad here. So interestingly, Final Defiance has played essentially a 4/4 for 3 and a Spell Pierce and won the game. Pretty interesting. I know which side I want to be on. So you're going to sacrifice your Pippin to flip this Kithian here? No, because the scrap shooter comes in and attacks it very effectively. We can use the Moorland Haunt this turn. Not gone for the Force of Virtue. Thing is, getting your creatures up big enough to trade with scrap shooter, but yeah, it does need another anthem after that. Yeah, no great attack there. I guess what you want to do is you want to maul and haunt this Kythian away, and then maybe you can attack with Thalia, Kythian, and the maul and haunt token, flipping the Kythian, and whoever gets blocked can be Pippin to stay alive. But then you don't have a lot of defenses for your newly flipped Gideon. So difficult to say if that's good. Probably not. Only one card for Final Defiance. It's not a Nardu. And they're just going to make their Malcolm bigger and attack? Question mark. I mean, a Nardu here is so good that whatever my remaining card is, I really want to loot it away. This Pippin is making blocking with a 4-1 absolutely sucky anyway, because you're just going to lose it to nothing. So I think I would definitely come in here. I don't know if I would have equipped Eater of Virtue first, although maybe you can damage race, given that you have a 4-4. Yeah, this does decide that swapping whatever the card in hand is for something else might be good. I mean, a Nardu seems absolutely winning. Oh, of course, the Mourn Haunt creature can trade with this Malcolm. So all of everything I said prior is nonsense, and this is actually bad, maybe. So Malcolm trades for a spirit, but oh no, it does not trade for a spirit because okay. So I can't see anything that's on board here, but it's all going to be a great big wash. Everybody spends a bunch of mana and effort to do essentially nothing. Funny. So now if you have the flash enchantment, no, because it costs 3 mana under Thalia. So I don't know what you might have opened up here for Nardu, maybe nothing. So it's a kind of a stalemate, but it's Hex Parasite. So it's a stalemate in which Final Defiance can draw a Nardu and essentially win the game immediately. But M-Dog can't do much of anything. That's what it feels like to me. I mean, it depends on what they draw, obviously. But I don't think there's going to be an attack here. Yeah, I just mean in general. So there is an attack. So they're saying you can. So we're really trying to flip. Perhaps we're going to untap. Gideon's ability allows you to untap a creature and make it indestructible. So perhaps we can. Okay. So perhaps we can do something with that, right? We can flip Gideon. Okay, thinks better of blocking the creature that can become indestructible, and instead forces the Pippin activation if they want to keep Thalia. They do want to keep Thalia. So now we're going to have a Gideon, but that Gideon. So Gideon can untap one creature, probably Pippin, and make it indestructible. And then Minamo can untap another creature, probably the Spirit token. And then Hex Parasite can kill the Gideon for 3 mana and 2 life. God, this is a complicated game. So it goes for the untapping the Spirit token and making. Well, I think untapping Pippin makes the most sense because Pippin can then make something else unable to die. So I think I would have untapped Pippin. Wait, and no, but then the flyer gets in, right? So this is why we untap Spirit Token because it flies and Malcolm flies, and now the Malcolm attack is bad. Probably kill Gideon with mana, just to stop it doing any more shenanigans. Just pay 2 life and 3 mana. It's 2 life and 4 mana. It's a lot, but I think the activation is valuable. You're not losing or even taking damage. I mean, yeah, maybe end of turn is better. Maybe you've got a counter spell in hand. Maybe you've got Forbid and you want to just see what happens and you can take 1 more turn of Gideon activations. There's a lot going on in this game. I mean, this actually is a really good advertisement for Magic. Maybe it's too complicated. But Okay, Rivendell Scries 2. So M-Dog looking for... I mean, it's flowering, is it? Yeah. There's nothing that's like card advantage. So it just has to be a single good permanent. Worst draws are a Pippin or a Thalia, I suppose. Any untapped land will allow activation of Fortified Beachhead, which could matter. Two of these creatures are soldiers. Gideon, when he activates, whatever it is a soldier. So we are going to take the Gideon down with Hex Parasite. I think wisely. If he goes +2, they wouldn't actually even be able to do it next turn without a land drop. So no more Gideon. What's that? You know, pretty tough road for M-Dog here. There's not really a card. Well, there might be a sideboard card they can draw that's insanely good. Okay, so Flowering was about the best draw, probably. Gives them an attack with Thalia. Probably don't want to trade off Pippin for anybody. And you probably want the Spirit back on blocking duty for Malcolm. But Thalia can get in here. And the attacks back are not super impressive. And also you can untap Thalia. Anyway. And Pippin can protect Thalia. Or you can untap Pippin. Once it's protected Thalia. So yeah, this is a good attack for sure. And I think Final Defiance has no choice but to take it. So that was a really good draw. Really good. I mean, the best possible, I guess. Unless there's some sideboard card that's like crazy. Nevermore on Nadu. I don't know. Even that wouldn't be as good as this. Yeah, yeah. So I think that was probably the best possible draw. So there's hope for Blue-White Legends aggro, which is, I guess, the hero here. I mean, it's the best deck in the format. Cynic Nadu. the worst possible hero of all heroes is the worst. So no attacks from Final Defiance because Spirit Token can live and trade with either of the other two, and if you just attack the Scrap Shooter, might as well block with Spirit Token and make it invulnerable to creatures with Pippin. So just nothing doing. Yeah. So, but as the board stands, Thalia attacks for 4, and there are no good blocks on Thalia. And in fact, we're going for no chumps allowed here. So Thalia now has protection. Oh, it's pretty. If this last card in hand is like the flash. Oh, what? Okay, we realized that Scrapshooter has reach at the last possible second. Oh no, we could untap Pippin and give the Spirit Token protection from creatures too and get him for 6, right? Yeah, if you look at the lands that M-Dog has, he has so many options here. He can make another 2/2 flyer. He can untap Pippin to make something, have protection. It's like, he can scry too. It's pretty awesome. I mean, we talked a bit about them dying in game 1 to having a Mourn Haunt, not an island or not another plane, but this kind of crazy selection of lands just looks really great here. So end step, I make a token here for sure, because now it's just looking like game, isn't it? Arachnogenesis or bust. Is that roughly where we are? Give 2 creatures that are in combination lethal protection from creatures, attack for your life total. Or just attack with Thalia and make you have it and keep protection for Thalia available if you do something crazy and try and flash an enchantment on it. Okay, so this is I don't know, very good. Just have to block up the 2 things they can block and go to 1 unless they have something. So option here to save a spirit by untapping Pippin and then retapping Pippin. I mean, you're taking the same risk next turn, as you would be taking now. So, but you might draw something, of course. And M-Dog has 2 cards in hand, and so does Final Defiance. So there's a lot going on here. M-Dog's second main, choosing whether to deploy something. And if I had a creep... Yeah, presumably an Arachnogenesis would have been played there, just to save the life. Okay, we have a Kythian. Very lethal. I mean, all creatures are lethal. And the Basri. So we were holding some of this in order to have access to our crazy land activities. At least one of these cards was in hand last turn. Flashes in a Malcolm. Kind of needs to be Nardu here. Kind of needs to be Nardu into a flash aura. Pippin can give protection from enchantments as well, though. So actually, really hard to imagine M-Dog not winning this and taking it to a game 3. Although Final Defiance will be on the play, so all to play for. I mean, yeah, it seems. I don't know what this could be. Nardu into a bunch of stuff, I guess. Oh God. So Pippin has Ward 1 and Ward 1. But that aspect of things is now dealt with. Oh God. Oh yeah. So just end of turn, untap Pippin. Good luck, mate. So if they have so it's actually just attack all here beats literally any card in the format, I think. You can even attack all and give 2 things, creatures, protection from creatures before blockers, if you like, or I don't know. There's so many options. So I don't think there's any dream card we could put in Final Defiance. I mean, I guess Fog, literal Fog would buy them a turn, which would do nothing. Okay, so we are going to have a game 3 after that very complicated 10-turn game 2. Final Defiance on the play seems like it makes things pretty even, maybe favoured for Nardu. But obviously, mulligans, draws, etc. are going to matter a ton. Correct decision is going to matter a ton. Both these players playing really well. Scrap Shooter did a lot there. There was a Scrap Shooter bought about 6 turns in which if you'd drawn Nardu, you'd have won the game. After tapping out on turn 2... Yeah. I mean, we were talking about how it was evenish, but Final Defiance was probably winning and had better draws, and the M-Dog's best possible draw was Flowering, and they drew Flowering. So, and it resolved. So that's how you win games of Magic. I mean, very well played. And also, I just love the construction of this deck. I mean, they just had so many options in that game, even though it's, a 1-drop, 2-drop aggro deck. They're not playing Lurrus. I guess so they can play Force of Virtue with Sinu. I don't know if they're playing anything else, an Adeline or something. It costs more than 2. Seems very possible. I mean, I guess I could bring the deck list up. I'm not telling anyone that's going to play them in the next round what they pick. 1. Okay. I think it's the same list, but let me check. The deck is called Air Force. Yeah, 26 legendary creatures, one of which is an Adeline, all of which... So it's literally 4 Force of Virtue, 1 Adeline, the only thing stopping them from playing Lurrus. So that's putting a lot of... Okay, interesting. For some reason, Kellen is under spells on Gatling, because Gatling's a bit broken. Let me make a note of that. Gatling lists adventure creatures under spells. Okay, I'll fix that. So pretty interesting mana base. 15 non-basic lands oh no, 14. There's one island. God, the island must be dreadful though. In the sideboard, there's some Spell Pierce, there's a Mythosworn Canonist, some Bounce Off, 2 Flare of Fortitude, a Council of Judgment, a Disenchant, a Pithy Needle, a Settle the Wreckage, and an Urza's Ruinous Blast. I don't know that you've done almost any of those. Maybe the Spell Pierce? No green land for Final Defiance. Doesn't necessarily mean anything. Might mean they have double Spell Pierce in hand or something weird. No Anthem from M-Dog. Do they have a second land? They do. It's a fortified beachhead. They show a Thalia. They play. Now, Thalia is mana linked. So just a 2/2. And Final Defiance has the mana for a Nadu. And plays a Nadu. So this is strong. So they could have the one-off Council's Judgment if they even brought it in. M-Dog chooses to blast out a Force of Virtue with a Basri being exiled. Does that mean they have do they have a Flowering so they can attack? No, they have Kellen, Daring Traveler. So no good attack here. Only one card left in hand. So this Nadu, even just as a 3/4 flyer, looks pretty darn good. Although this Kellen can attack and draw cards. So there's some card advantage. There's another enabler for Nadu. So we can get 2 Nadu triggers this turn and make it a 4/5, if nothing else. We did not attack, though, which implies we have meaningful spells. Here comes Flowering, no cards in hand. Spell Pierce, no good. Mana Leak, very good. This resolves. It's going to be a bad time. So presumably we're going to Okina. We're going to... Yeah, we can Okina the Nadu looking for a mana leak if we don't have one. Maybe the Disenchants came in from the sideboard. Maybe they're playing, the new Return to Nature that's even better than Return to Nature, and they can just let it resolve and then kill it. Nothing in hand for M-Dog, so this is it. Wow, doesn't even activate, so maybe has an answer here for either Kellen or the Flowering or something. No, it looks like they're going to allow the attack. So there's a Kellen trigger. This is really big. They find a Basri. So this just looks very good for M-Dog. What are these 3 cards in hand that it wasn't worth activating Okina to look for an answer? Arachnogenesis looks like. Or not. I mean, it's a lot better than taking 10 or trading off your Nadu. Yeah, but I agree. It's not, it's not an answer into Flowering. It's what you really want. But I could see. Yeah, I'm not sure. So it is Arachnogenesis. So they didn't activate the Okina looking for a mana leak because they thought if I don't hit a mana leak, I won't be able to cast Arachnogenesis and I'll have to take 10. They block, which is pointless, but sure. Here comes Basri, which will resolve into just 1 open blue mana. So it's really about what can Nadu pop off here, right? Like an invasion attack with all 3 is pretty darn good. No spell, no land drop is not good. So another Arachnogenesis. Yeah, I mean, unless we have a Disenchant soon, we're going to run out of Arachnogenesis. Gets Kithian off the Kellen trigger. So there is card advantage in this blue-white deck, as well as tricks, as well as God knows what. There is another Arachnogenesis, and we can kill Isamaru or Basri here. Probably. Oh no, or any of them. We can also kill Kellen. So probably kill Kellen, but maybe kill Basri. It was 3 Kellen hits in a row. It's really, really turned around this game since this Flowering resolved, which is exactly what happened in the other game that Blue-White Legends Aggro won. But I wouldn't say this one is done by any means. 18 life and a Nadu is pretty tasty. I mean, there's all to play for here. It's going to be a lot to chomp through these 1-2s, but a Pippin will help a lot, and probably so will a 5-3 with Ward 1 that can be indestructible. So, looking for an enabler for Nadu here. I think Segovia, best of all, right? If they have Invasion of Segovia, they can trade 2 spiders for 2 1/1s and a 3/3 and drawing 4 cards. And there it is. So no cards for Endog, no chance to do anything about this. And you've just got to, presumably, attack. And they've left the Minimo up, so if they hit an island on their 4 triggers, they'll be able to untap Nadu and block, but I guess they probably won't want to. Yes, they attack with the minimum required, no cards in hand, so it's all on board. And this is very good. So this is a real back and forth match. This is very good for, I mean, if they hit 2 lands and an Arachnogenesis off this draw 4, which is asking a lot, it's looking very good for them. They, of course, now have kind of infinite mana. Oh, wait, why are we're just doing some damage here? Yeah, it does make sense, right? It's just some 3 points of damage, although it means that you have... No, it doesn't mean anything, because there's only 4 creatures that attack going to survive, and then all 4 are the ones that get untapped by invasion. So yeah, well calculated by Final Defiance. I would not have got that right. So here's a 3/3, which, is actually pretty pathetic on this board of 5/4s and things. Could trade with Basri, but you probably just want to draw 4 cards every turn and chump block with other things or gang. Yes. Yeah, I'm just thinking about, Pippin here can allow an attack for 5 that just, not much can be done about it. Let's see what gets drawn anyway. That's going to be a really big part of what's going on here. So there's a Forest, a Malcolm, a Flooded Grove, and a Hex Parasite. So many chump blockers available, if nothing else, for Final Defiance. And just drawing 4 cards a turn, obviously great. Really looking to draw a Scrap Shooter, presumably. Scrap Shooter would destroy the flowering and then make all sort of gang blocks more palatable. I think you Oh yeah, I mean, we're flipping Kithian here. We're going to give protection to whatever thing gets gang blocked, so it just takes out a bunch of spiders or whatever. It's not great for the defending player. The only thing that is good for the defending player is they're drawing 4 cards a turn, and they're going to actually convoke out an Arachnogenesis, which is very, very good here. Third one in the top 15 cards in library. So, drawing a flowering at the exact right time 2 games in a row is being matched by drawing 3 Arachnogenesis. So yeah, just gang block in such a way that 2 things would die. Although Pippin saves Basri and Kithian saves himself if Endog has no other plays. So it's not actually going to eat anything here, but also not going to take any damage and going to draw another 4 cards, etc., etc. So it's interesting. Yeah. It looks pretty tough for blue-white here, just to... Yeah, and just there's just always going to be so many blockers. So the only thing that can be done here is to use Pippin to make a 5-power creature unblockable and attack for 5, and do that 4 times. But in the meantime, you have to survive your opponent drawing 4 cards a turn to find stuff to deal with that, like the flash aura, which would turn off Pippin for good, or just stop the guy that's currently getting through and save you 5 life while you swing back and so on. So, I mean, there's a 5/3 industry. Yeah, yeah. So there's just it's difficult. I mean, I suppose that Endor could draw his Council's Judgment from the sideboard if he brought it in, and remove remove the Nadu or remove the status. But I don't know. It's looking like, it has to be perfect draws from here on out, and this, next 4 cards have to be not good. Yeah, and we've got 2 Nadu activations of Okina and Minamo as well. So we can actually draw 6 cards if it's important. Yeah. So Basri makes a cat, and then this gains 3 life, killing a spider, presumably. And that takes 11, and there's a loot, and there's a draw 4. Yeah, this seems. Yeah, I mean, we had a game that went to turn 10 that Blue-White won, but here we are on turn 7, and it doesn't look like Blue-White has the tools. There's a Hex Parasite, so now we can draw, I think, 14 cards on board. They've got it. No, but if they really had to, for some crazy sideboard card reason, like an Urza's Ruinous Blast was about to resolve or something, then they could. And they only really have mana for non-creature spells here, but that's all they need on their opponent's turn. There's a Scavenging Ooze, which seems relevant. There's a Step Through, which seems relevant. I mean, if the plan is to pip in a 5-power creature through 4 times, you ain't going to do that into a Scavenging Ooze. Well, yeah. No, it's a really tough spot here for Endor. Another card advantage card has been spotted in minus Tirith. So he's attacking with 2 creatures in order to get the minus Tirith draw, probably because he's just going to die without it. But it does seem like Simic Nadu, 4 in the top 10, is also going to be the winner. Untapping Nadu reveal of Malcolm. Mdog says, I'm going to draw a card. Draws the card. Nadu untaps. Blocks the lifelinker, presumably. And are we just massively gang blocking this Amaro and trading off a bunch of spiders for it? Or not interested in that. I mean, you could also take 5. It'd be no problem. Scavenging Ooze can gain you 4 life in the worst case. So we just jump. No, we are going to gang block. 2 cards in hand for M-Dog. I guess if he plays a Force of Virtue and it goes unanswered with his 2 remaining cards, that could kill Nadu, gain 4 life, kill 4 spiders to no advantage. We don't see a card in hand for Farm Defiance that answers that. And we know they have Nadu who step through Scavenging Ooze. But sadly, the last 2 cards are not Force of Virtue white card. Did not use Pippin. I'm actually probably just dead in a couple of swings here. Maybe not 2. A pretty good final, though. Swingy games and such, not so one-sided as Magic can be sometimes. And it does look like the Boogeyman is going to win. There's something about drawing 4 cards a turn that makes winning games of Magic a lot easier. Okay, so step through, bounce both your creatures. Pippin can give protection from Pippin can give protection from sorceries to Basri, but I don't know if it's good because is Basri exerted or no? Basri was exerted, so Basri is good. So this is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 14. I see 15 damage exactly. So one of the two, it's 15 damage exactly if they activate Okina. Did not serve with Thetis, so yeah, I mean, any non-creature spell in their hand of which they're about to draw some more will be good here when they untap 4. So hard to imagine. I guess if they have no counter, they draw no counter here, and M-Dog's draw is Urza's Ruinous Blast exactly, which he has a 1 of in the sideboard and probably did not bring in, then it's game on. Although probably still favouring Simic. Other than that, it gets rid of everything except Flowering of the White Tree and Basri, who can then attack for 5 or make a cat. As he, we didn't see a counterspell revealed in the 4 draws of the untap. Oh, Nadu is legendary, of course. Yeah, that matters. That does matter. So here's Pippin back into action. We can make a flyer to block Nadu, but presumably all the little crappy guys getting in will add up to 4 or considerably more than 4. Even if you leave back Cetus in a surfeit of... Yeah, yeah. Oh, that also wouldn't die. Okay, so Urza's Ruinous Blast, probably not even slightly an out there. Just allow you to chump block and stay alive on 1 or something. Sharpshooter, might as well give you a card. Why not? I think M-Dog may have a 1 of Settle the Wreckage. Would that be good? Assuming that these 7 cards in hand are not counterspells and we don't draw 1 in desperation as we activate things. Second Sharpshooter. Yes, but if they do, there's still going to be 2 4/4s left behind because these scrap shooters can't attack. Yeah, we're conjuring scenarios that don't really exist here, and Final Defiance does play it safe. 4 minutes on the clock, plenty of time. We're going making a 1/1. We've got 3 blocks here. Making a cat. We're going to gain some life, but it's only 1. I think we're dead. Trade with Malcolm, presumably. Oh no, have to block the 3. Yeah, -1. Well, this was the Nadu 500, and it was won by Final Defiance, who I think, played really well in all the games we watched. So congratulations to M-Dog for being the hero, or hero adjacent, making it to the final with non-Nadu. And that's the Penny Dreadful 500 Season 37. New season starts Friday morning Pacific, midnight.